So I would like to share with you guys a conversation I had with my mom earlier this week. She gave me a phone call and I was telling her that I'd been thinking about her all day. And what I'd been thinking about was a memory of we were driving in a car and she was mad at my dad about something. And I really love my dad and I started getting really defensive and I totally had an outburst of wrath at my mom, which is very much not my personality. But I was screaming at her and I said, "Mom, stop talking. No one ever wants to hear what you have to say. You should never speak again." And the whole rest of the car ride, which happened to be an hour long, was very quiet and very awkward, and I was still mad. And this leads me to my quote, which is by Henry Ward Beecher, which says, "Never forget what a man says to you when he's angry." And I actually agree and disagree with this quote, and I have two examples which I would like to share with you guys today. So besides my first example with my mom, and I said this terrible thing to her in my anger, that's not how I feel all the time about my mom. I love hearing my mom talk. My mom talks a lot, and I talk a lot, and so we just have this good thing going between us. But another family relational situation was when my sister was very mad at my dad. And she said, "Dad, I hate you. I never want to speak to you again." And so that ended their conversation, and she didn't talk to him for several months. Little did she know that my dad would end up going into a coma, and she wouldn't get to talk to him for, well, just so you guys know, so you're not worried. He's okay, but for that was a really intense moment for her where she was like, "Oh my gosh, the last thing I said to my dad was that I hated him and I never wanted to talk to him again." And so for this quote where it says, "Never forget what a man says to you when he is angry," I would like to disagree for situations like what I had with my mom and what my sister had with my dad, in that we say things when we're angry that we don't always mean because we're really passionate about something and we feel like there's wrong or injustice that's been done, but it doesn't always portray the deeper ways that we feel, and sometimes our values and the things that we care about get out of whack for a minute. But I think it's important that we do forget sometimes what people say when they're angry. Now on the flip side of this, in my English class, which I love to talk about, we are talking about race, and a student brought up in class today how she was watching this America's Next Top Model, and how there was a model on there who was commenting to one of the black girls in the car. She's like, "Wow, I'm surprised that there's so many black women on this show." And the girl's like, "Hey, like, what's that supposed to mean?" And she's like, "Well, most often it's like light-colored women who are on America's Next Top Model." And this black woman continued to not say anything until later in the private interview. She's like, "I totally wanted to tell this girl, like, that's super unfair, that's racist, let's talk about this, but I didn't want to come off as the stereotypical racist black woman," and she couldn't feel like she could be heard. So in this sense, I think that I agree with this quote in the fact that it says, "Never forget what a man says to you when he's angry," because sometimes people's anger is just, and it needs to be heard, and it's coming from a place where there's been something that's been wrong that's done, and people are speaking out in that. And so this brings me to my conclusion, which is that sometimes we have to have discernment in knowing when to remember what people say when they're angry and when to not, and kind of judge those situations. And so I hope that's what we can take from this. Thank you.
Well, you have a great personal experience to use to get our attention. I think that works well. You tie it into the topic effectively. You're kind of straddling the point of view that you're going to be taking. That gives you a chance to play both sides, which is fine. It also gives you an organizational structure, which you do a pretty good job with. And I thought that you had some nice examples that you talked about. It gave you a chance to I don't want to say pontificate, but it gave you a chance to elaborate on what you are saying and say it in a way that's more interesting. So I think you did a good job developing the content. Presentation issues, again, most of the things are I think you did a couple things a little bit better. You look around more. You're still kind of looking down in front of us a bit. In other words, you're looking in our direction. You're looking kind of at us, but not connecting with us a little bit. And I think that's just, you know, one of those things that takes a little bit more time to develop. But it's not even hugely problematic. It's just one of those things that's noticeable if you are sitting in the audience. I see it happening and I think, oh, you know, just one more extra, you know, direct contact would feel so much better. Your posture is very good this time, and I thought that you moved in appropriate ways. The angle of your body when you're speaking, you're trying to engage everybody and pull us all in. So you did a very good job on all of those things. So the criticisms that I have are just minor sorts of things. They're things that are easy fixes, and they're not the kinds of problems that nobody should be losing sleep over that. It's just, it looks a little bit odd from the position that I'm sitting in. And I don't know if you'll notice it when you're on the video, because like I said, it is a little subtle. All right, thank you.